Welcome to the Pint and Click podcast. I'm Dave. I'm here with Jami and Joel and Tony. And today we're talking about a piece of technology. We're talking about MoviePass. MoviePass is a way to watch movies at your theater for a monthly fee as opposed to paying per movie. I understand it's a great deal, and it's an app on your phone, and it's a debit card as well. I'm not really sure. So maybe, Jami and Joel, you both have it and use it. Could you tell us a little bit more about it?
So it is a subscription service. So as of recording, it costs $9.99 per month. And when you sign up, they will send you a MasterCard in the mail, which is a MoviePass branded MasterCard. And the way it works is when you go to the movie theater, you have your location services checked on, and you sign in on the MoviePass app to the movie that you want to see at that theater. And once you check into that movie, they will immediately put the money onto your MasterCard, your MoviePass MasterCard. And then with that debit card, you purchase the ticket. So there are multiple steps involved to it. Like you do have to have a smartphone that has location services enabled.
You do have to have the patience to wait
yes.
almost a week for the card to be mailed to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't just sign up and go to the movie that night.
And I've heard from some people that there have been issues depending on updates and what versions of your phone you have. So there are some qualifications that you need to have a certain type of phone to be able to use it. But I've had it since January, and I love it so far. I've seen probably 8 movies since probably like January 25th, so around a month or so. And since I live in Chicago, if I saw those movies all not matinees, it would be, $11 to $14, depending on what movie theater I went to. And I paid $10 for all of them, which is great.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. So $10, $20. If you watch a movie a month, you about make your money back. If you watch more than a movie a month.
Yeah. It sounds almost too good to be true.
It does, which is honestly why I'm afraid of it.
When I heard about it, and I was very circumspect about it, I read articles and just kind of looked at it from all different angles. And then I finally signed up for it. And then they updated the app, and my phone was not included, apparently, in the update. So it wouldn't work. And one caveat of the whole MoviePass program is the customer service is not great. And I registered the issue, and I never really got a response back. There was an 800 number you could call, and I called the 800 number, and the guy said, I'm sorry for your experience. If you want to give us a call, you don't have to use the app. You can give us a call on this phone, and we'll put money on it. You let us know where you are and what movie you're at, what you want to see, and we'll put the money on your card so you can purchase it. The unfortunate thing is, after 9 o'clock, if you want to see a movie after 9 o'clock, they're not open. So tried calling at 6:45, and I got a busy message saying all customer service representatives are helping others. Call back another time. Which is not great when you're wanting to go see a movie.
When you're standing at the theater.
You're standing at, I went out of my way on the way home to pick up a...
Since you can't do it in advance.
Exactly. So, because you have to be at the physical location of the theater. So it happened another time. I thought, maybe they were just busy. It's 6:45 on a Tuesday night. Maybe a lot of people really like to go see movies on Tuesday night. And then I tried it the next morning at 11:30, and the Wednesday morning, same thing happened. And I was just up to not enjoying MoviePass. But then I checked the app, and they had updated it.
That's good.
On
your
my
phone. Yeah.
And then it couldn't be any easier. It's the easiest thing in the entire world. You're literally walking towards the theater, selected the movie off the app, and it said, okay, go up to the box office, and took 12 more steps, bought my ticket, and went right in.
Cool.
So it was one of the most terrible experiences and one of the most great experiences all wrapped into one app. So when it's working, it is really awesome. It's just really fun. They have a nice app where you can select which movie theater you want to go to and which... It's not good for 3D or
IMAX.
Extra kind of movies, but if you're into 2D movies,
most of us are.
Right. It's definitely utilize it for that, and it also keeps track of the movies that you've seen.
Oh, that's nice.
In case you feel nostalgic about all the movies, or maybe to remind you of the value of it. Some theaters are not enamored with the idea of MoviePass, but I'm not really sure why. I know AMC there's been many articles about some resistance from them allowing MoviePass users to use their theater, and don't know exactly why.
I think that one of the arguments I read about was that AMC feels like it's devaluing the cost, the what our idea of what a movie should cost should be, even though they're not technically losing money because they do get paid the full face value of the price of the ticket. They're not getting a discounted rate by MoviePass or anything like that. So I think that there's continuing to be tensions between AMC and MoviePass, and it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. For example, AMC River East downtown, MoviePass doesn't work there anymore. But as far as I know, that is the only theater in the Chicago area which doesn't take it.
Yeah, they announced there's like 5 in the country that don't take it
the
or
5
something
most
like
popular right in the middle of downtown of cities. Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago.
But what's cool about it, too, is it doesn't just work at chains like AMC. In the Chicago area, you can go to the Music Box Theater and see a lot of independent movies there. You can use it at Gene Siskel downtown and see movies there.
It works at the Pickwick Theater in Park Ridge. So, nice. Yeah, and in Arlington Heights, the theater in downtown Arlington Heights. So
you can see so many limited runs and documentaries and film fests and things like that paying the same price that you would otherwise, which I think is really cool.
What MoviePass does is they really try to market the information of the users, and they try to provide targeted marketing.
Sure.
With so that's in case you're wondering how can they actually
get away with this,
make money by doing this. I think that's the whole idea is that
it's our
they're
data.
Trying to, and they're also actually getting involved in the movie and making business.
Like the distribution, at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
It's an interesting... It's a 21st century
definitely.
Startup that it's not thinking of business in the usual line.
Yeah, well, it reminds me of how Netflix used to mail you, well, they still do, but like they can mail you DVDs, and that's how it began. And you don't really think about it, but there's a certain value to knowing that there are people out there, there's a market, a demand for going out physically being at a movie and like knowing the information about those individuals. It's kind of fascinating because, Joel, you said that it's kind of subsidizing essentially our ticket price, right? And I once heard, I don't know if you guys know this is a myth or fact, that movie tickets don't really make up most of the profit for movie theaters. It was like the concessions and everything else involved in the movie theater.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's true, but I
have heard that.
Yeah, I've heard that. And it brings up an interesting fact. Like I wanted, one of my notes for this was like, similar to a library, there is a value in having the place where you're going to get your media because you'll get the people with it. You get whoever you're bringing with you to that place, and you get the memory of, you know, what the weather is like, when the parking spot you found, and things like that. You know, like it's not always the most exciting, but it gives you opportunities for stories. Not to say we have to segue yet, but it gives you the opportunity to create memories and to see what events are going on. But it's also great promotion and cross promotion, like, you know, movie theater posters and getting to see what's coming out and getting the experience of being right there to see it and the previews and everything. So
yeah, because I found that going to movies a lot kind of just perpetuates the cycle because I see all these previews for other ones I want to continue to see further on. And they're saying that if they eventually, you know, cross-check data from Facebook and YouTube and things like that, they can see which ads we see, and then they can see through MoviePass which movie we actually go to, which information wasn't there before.
Sure.
And they can see, okay, this user saw these 4 different ads, but they chose to go to this one movie. Why this movie over other ones? So that information is really valuable.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a huge movie goer before this year. That's why I debated whether to do this or not. I'd seen maybe 8 movies all of last year, and if you think that it would be $120 for the year for MoviePass, that doesn't seem like it would make sense.
Right.
However, I've gone to so many movies because the price always kept me away. So it's a great date night. It's a great thing to do with your friends, and it just makes it a lot easier to be able to have like a quick and easy thing to do.
Provided your date or friends has MoviePass as
yes,
well.
that's true. Luckily, I do have very many friends now who have MoviePass, so it's become like our weekly thing.
Or, you know, advanced preparations, you know, to buy tickets earlier.
Yeah.
Because you can buy tickets at the theater for later times. So.
But it has to be the same day, right?
Yes, the same day.
You can't buy tickets for the next day. That does require a little bit of advanced planning for movies that are really popular. For example, for Black Panther, I went at like 9:30 in the morning to buy my ticket for later in the day to make sure that I would be able to get a seat.
That's not so bad. I live real close to an AMC.
Yeah, so that makes it
So I
perfect.
could just pull into the parking lot, buy a ticket, and come back later. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. My friends live a couple blocks away from one of them, so they don't even need to leave their house. They can check in from their house.
Close enough?
And then they just go later. Yeah. There was a controversy that happened recently where some users found out that their MoviePass account got terminated And MoviePass said it was because they had misused the account. For example, buying a 3D movie ticket instead of a 2D movie ticket, buying concessions with their MoviePass. They say they put a little extra money beyond the cost of the ticket on it just in case movie theaters at the last minute change their prices. They want to make sure you can still buy your ticket. But because of that, that means that sometimes you might be able to buy a 3D ticket or something.
Sure.
And so some of it was people taking advantage of it, but some other people were saying, no, these are errors because some box offices have box office and concessions at the same kiosk. And then someone, the person working there, forgot to charge it separately or things like that. So it was just kind of mistakes.
Yeah.
So the MoviePass CEO said they're trying to work on that, and they're trying to hire a bunch of new customer
the
service people
aforementioned
so that
customer service
experiences
problem.
like
I think that would be a valuable investment, to say the least.
But it's interesting, Tony, that you brought up Netflix because the CEO is one of the founders of Netflix.
Yeah.
And if you think about things like Amazon, a lot of those companies were not profitable at the beginning, and people were like, you're losing so much money. But
Yeah.
here
Well,
they are now.
and it's one a day too. So if you think you can like give your friend your phone to buy a second ticket or something, it's like, no, it'll know it's one a day. But I also they also don't have like a family or a group pass yet. So there's no sharing of accounts. You have to, I guess, do your own individual.
So movie watching must be solitary and must not be shared.
Yeah, like my husband and I both have our own individual
Okay.
ones when we go. It does take a little longer because then we each need to buy our tickets separately with our own MoviePass cards. I hope maybe in the future that they'll have like a family plan or something.
Yeah,
like
it would
that.
make sense.
Yeah.
And you have to sync up your seats too.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it's still growing. I mean, it sounds like it's still like it's at its very early stages. So maybe it's just like like it's a word of mouth thing. You heard about it here on our podcast and on our website, but maybe in a couple of years they'll change their business model and things like that. But it seems like they have a pretty good formula that get on it while you can if you're a moviegoer, you know?
Right, absolutely. Take advantage of like whatever else happens. Take advantage and see all these movies now.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially it's different times of the year with Oscars or with summer blockbusters or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I usually make an effort to see the Oscar Best Picture nominees. And when I've done that in the past, it's cost me at least $100, right? To see 8 movies, 10 movies for $10, $12, whatever it is. That could not be the issue any longer if I sign up to MoviePass.
Well, and part
That's
of
a
the
feeling
fun,
to me, yeah.
part of the fun too is identifying a movie or being able to search a movie down. Especially in the greater Chicagoland area, we're blessed to have so many different theaters and so many different. You can really just kind of find search for a movie, see which theaters are showing it, and then even without MoviePass, that's fun. But it's just with MoviePass, it makes it that much.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're looking that much more
Better.
often, I'm sure, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I can go see another movie. It's not like I'm going over my movie budget for the month or something like that. So that's great. Yeah.
One thing that's important to note is that the offers that they have on the app and the website right now as of recording are different. If you go on the website, you'll only see an offer if you sign up to pay for the whole year at once. It's $7.99 for the whole year and then a $10 processing fee. So that divided into 12 months ended up being around $8.75 per month or something. But if you sign up through the app, it does offer you the $9.99 per month fee. So if you want to just try it out and not do the whole year at once, make sure you sign up through the app.
Cool.
So I find this fascinating because I love going to the movies. I love going to a theater. I love being near people. I love responses from the crowd, whether it's one person shouting something at the screen or whether it's a whole auditorium laughing. I don't get that at home watching on Netflix. God bless Netflix, but it is a solitary watching experience for me, as opposed to going to the theater where not only are you seeing something new and you're seeing something big and loud, there's that active element of the crowd. And, sometimes it's bad. I remember I went to see Les Mis with Hugh Jackman, and there were people, sitting behind me eating peanuts out of a plastic bag, and it ruined about the middle act. It went on for almost an hour, and that was unfortunate. But so many good experiences I've had in the theater. I don't know about the rest of you, but it's just a stronger experience. It's more fun, I think, to be in a theater. I remember Fellowship of the Ring I saw at Michigan Theater in Ann Arbor, and the crowd was everyone was just like me. People came in costume. People were cheering. People were when Gandalf identifies the ring and says the poem, the guy in the row behind me whispered along with Ian McClellan whispered the poem, "One ring to find them all and in the darkness bind them."
Was this a midnight showing?
I think it had to have been, yeah. Yeah, but outstanding experiences like that, I think, are kind of being forgotten in the age of Netflix and on-demand. And
I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
I stepped on the robe of a Nazgul. He must have been 6.5 feet tall, and it was really scary because he looked back at me with his blank. I couldn't even see his face. It was just like in the cowl, and it was just very terrifying.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree with that. There's even extending to, for me, it's the crowd. But I also enjoy, to me, it's like a museum. Where you get to kind of spend time in a museum of movies. A lot of the current ones will be out, but there might be movie posters from before. A lot of times I see movies after I come home from work when we close at night, and so there aren't a lot of people around. I'm able to just kind of experience the cinematic je ne sais quoi.
Going off of that, it's so different than being at home because, like you were saying, it's like a museum. The outside world does not intrude, hopefully, if you don't have, other people sitting and looking at their phone. But if you're watching Netflix or a movie at home, you can always stop. You can always do something else. There's the whole world all around you, but you're literally in the dark. This 2 or 3 hours is your dedicated time for this movie. You are so much more transported into the world of the film than when you're not in a theater.
It's funny that we all have stories about Lord of the Rings because I think mine was the cheering, just like everybody, almost like unanimous cheering and applause at the end of there's a fight with the orcs and Aragorn,
cuts off Lurtz's head.
Exactly. And
that happened in the Michigan Theater at the midnight showing with all the nerds. But then I went to see it again a couple days later in like an AMC or something, and they cheered there when Lurtz got his head cut off.
Yeah.
Like, people loved that moment. Right. It really solicited a reaction from the crowd. That theater was dead silent. There was no laughing. There's no cheering. There's no gasping. There's no whispering until Lurtz's head came off and it erupted in a cheer.
Yeah, and both of my fondest memories are also Tolkien related. I wasn't into Lord of the Rings before I saw the first movie, and I only saw it because it was a school field trip my entire 7th grade. All 400 of us all went to see the Fellowship of the Ring because we were reading The Hobbit in school. And I knew nothing about it, the movie, and I just went there and was entranced. And all of us geeky, nerdy 12-year-olds in there were just enchanted, and it made me fall in love with the movie and the series. And then a sadder tale was when I went to go see the first Hobbit, and I was also so excited, and I was dressed up as Gimli, and I went to Denny's beforehand because they had a special Hobbit menu. So
I know what you're talking about.
So I had this Hobbit whole breakfast that was a bagel that had an egg in the middle, and I got my Feely and Keely trading cards and everything, and I was so excited, and it was midnight, and I fell asleep.
During the movie?
Yeah, during the movie, because I am not great in the middle of the night. Before the dwarves even stopped singing, I was already snoring, my husband said. So I had to go back during the daytime and go see it again.
I always remember, well, at least I think the most memorable ones are ones where I'm seeing it with a particular group of people. For some reason, one of the early times I introduced my wife to my family when we were still dating at the time, it was we saw Pan's Labyrinth, and it was an intense film. We just finished talking about Guillermo del Toro, but with incredible, fantastic fantasy, grotesque imagery, brutal violence, and we were all shocked. All of us were shocked, and I just remember my wife explaining the historical context of it all, because we didn't necessarily know, but she's a Spanish major, so she studied a lot of this in college. So, but it was a really intense movie. But then on the other side of the spectrum, recently we saw Coco with my mom and my all my siblings. And it was just great because it's just my cultural heritage in movie form. And it was just wonderful to get there's a song in it called Remember Me. And it's about how as long as you remember your ancestors and those around you, they'll never, stop being by your side. And they'll never stop being able to come and visit you. It was just an awesome experience to all be laughing at the same jokes that were about the tamales that the grandmother was feeding the family. Did you just say no to more tamales? No, I don't think so. Here's more tamales, just stuff like that. And yeah, it's just a great experience.
It's a connection not only with the characters, but with the people around you, with your family or friends. Yeah. I remember being 7 years old. My family and I went to go see The Natural. And we were in the theater, and this was in the Eric Theater in Allentown, Pennsylvania, right across the street from the prison. We went to go see The Natural, And we walk in the doors, and the movie starts, and it ends up not being the natural. You see Harrison Ford, you see Kate Capshaw, and it was the beginning of Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom.
Oh.
We went into it was a classic movie theater mistake. We went into the wrong theater.
Yeah.
And round about the part where he reaches his hand in to pull the heart out, my mom, I can see her leaning, I'm 7 years old, she's leaning forward to my dad, should Joel be watching this? And I was like, no, this is great, Mom, let's stay here. And we ended up seeing the entire Temple of Doom movie when we went to go see, who I now understand, my mom, she enjoyed Robert Redford and I do too, but just The Natural, completely different movie, but a great experience nonetheless. So that was one of my favorite movie memories.
Yeah, that must have been one of your earliest movie memories. That seems
Yeah, I did.
awesome.
I remember Snakes on a Plane. We went with, it was a group of like 10 of us, all mid-20s, guys and wives and girlfriends and things like that. No kids at the time because we didn't have them yet. Empty theater. We walk in and we take a whole row. And we're like, this is going to be great. It's just us. And about 2 minutes later, in walks another group of about 8 to 10 mid-20s men and women. And I'm like,
Now you have to rumble.
yeah, it's us. It's the Bizarro universe that just walked in on us.
Yeah, in high school, we would always go to Village Crossing in the Skokie Niles border, and we would always also have like a really big crew of like 10 or 12 because when you're in high school, like you just go to movies all the time. It's like one of the things you can do. And I remember I spent so many movies sitting in the aisle because we would go to movies that were pretty full, and then we wanted to sit all together and not be separated. So I would sit in the aisle so I could be next to other people instead of going somewhere else.
Yeah, I remember being in the aisles too.
Yeah. Do you guys watch like 3D and IMAX movies a lot or not?
I don't
really?
like
Rarely.
3D movies
Yeah,
very
me
much.
either.
The Hobbit was okay in 3D because it was filmed in 3D. I thought that was a pretty good representation. It wasn't like I saw Avengers in 3D and I just didn't like it. It was just seemed silly and distracting. I do see a lot of IMAX movies just because I live 2 minutes from an IMAX AMC. So why not watch it in IMAX if they got it in IMAX? But it's not super compelling anymore. It's not a world of difference, I think. Because, like, modern screens are pretty big. Like, it doesn't need to be IMAX big, right?
Right.
I did make a special trip to see Dark Knight in IMAX. I had to go to Schaumburg for that because certain scenes were filmed in IMAX with IMAX cameras, and you could really tell. It would suddenly pop, and you would say, oh, my God, this is so much more detailed than a second ago.
I think I saw Avatar in IMAX or at least digital 3D. And it was, I remember I thought, oh, wow, this is actually, I might, if the second one's good, I might see that in 3D.
I saw Avatar in 3D too, but it always makes me feel nauseous for some reason. I always get like, and I don't know if it's because I wear glasses, so then I wear my 3D glasses on top of my glasses. But for some reason, something is off, and it always makes me feel like I'm going to throw up. So I do not go see those.
I have a friend who said it doesn't work. He puts on the 3D glasses, he doesn't see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
The one 3D movie I saw was a cinematic masterpiece, World War Z. Just to try it out, and
Yeah.
it was just extra. It wasn't
Yeah.
necessary for me to see a movie but I do get suckered into, Blade Runner, the original, on IMAX,
Sure.
or the one that really made me beat down the door to it was Raiders of the Lost Ark in IMAX. But, it's just it was a movie.
Yeah.
But it was a chance to see Raiders of the Lost Ark
That's true.
in the
Again,
movie theater.
Yeah.
Because when it came, I was too young at that point.
Nice.
What is the movie that you all have seen the most times in theaters, and how many times?
Phantom Menace,
How many times?
4 times.
Wow.
So,
Within a week, within 7 days.
I saw Attack of the
Wow.
Clones about 7 times.
What?
Yeah, well, I was, in context, I had like 2 brothers that worked at a movie theater at the same time, and all their friends did. So I actually got free tickets all the time during that phase, and just like, I liked Star Wars, I was
Sure.
a really big Star Wars fan.
Why not just go see it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a couple blocks from my
Same
house.
here. I worked at a movie theater. During that time period, I saw English Patient 5.5 times.
That is a...
The other,
Wow.
the other half time was spent playing Mortal Kombat at the arcade. But I still do. I enjoy that movie.
Yeah, I know that movie too well now. Attack of the Clones, I can barely not that it's terrible, I just know every single phase and beat. If it's on, I'll have it on. I'll put it on if I see it.
Right.
I'm just like, this is, memories. It's great. What did I see in this,
I think it was probably The Lord of the Rings. I think I only saw them probably like 3 times. at the most. So
Each one?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
So a total
maybe
of 9?
two. Yeah, some of them maybe Two Towers I only saw twice or something, but I don't think I've seen any movie more than 3 times in theaters. Although when I was a kid, I remember watching the same movies at home over and over again, like day after day. I could watch the same movie, but I don't think in theaters. At that age, my parents would be that down for paying, over and over again for me to see the same thing. I remember the first movie I saw in theaters was Fly Away Home. I think I was 5. It was that movie, I forget what the girl's name was in it, but it was about like Canadian geese and her having to like bring them back home. She became like, we would know what that actress's name was, but I saw it was like the first PG movie that my mom let me see, and I was 5, and I like cried the whole way home.
Is it Jeff Daniels in that?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. But she was like, okay,
She
this was very emotional for you. Mm-hmm. Was it Anna Paquin?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know my first movie. I think I started early. I remember a lot of Disney. I saw Lion King in the theater. I saw Aladdin in the theater. I probably saw Little Mermaid in the theater. So, like, it must have been a Disney movie, a Disney cartoon, but I'm not sure which one. Beauty and the Beast I saw in the theater. That was a school trip. Otherwise, I'm not sure. If it's those, I think Little Mermaid was first. So I think that's my guess. But I might be wrong what my first movie was. If you're talking about kids watching movies, though, I remember watching Jurassic Park in the theater and for the rest of the summer being afraid of bushes. 'Cause I thought a velociraptor might jump out of any bush I walked past down the street. It must have been like what it was like to watch Jaws as a kid and have to swim at the beach for a summer. For me, it was Jurassic Park and bushes.
I saw Jurassic Park in a drive-in theater during a rainstorm.
Oh, that's right. You
So
told me this story.
all those scenes was like, it was
Did you have a
ultra
cup of
real.
water?
Do you have a sunroof? Yeah.
But I remember seeing in another drive-in theater, I remember seeing a double feature of Fox and the Hound and Battlestar Galactica as my first
Interesting.
memory of going to the movies. Dates me.
I've never been to a drive-in. I would like to.
I keep meaning to go back to one. There's a few in the area, but
Yeah, there was a double feature made by Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez called Death Proof and Planet Terror. And Planet Terror is a zombie movie, and I think that was the second one. And I was really happy that they did it in that order because it was, honestly, I would definitely go to a double feature again if that happened because it was super entertaining, and I was with a bunch of college friends at the time. I think we drove an hour just to get to the right movie theater because I went to college not near a big movie theater. You got Quentin Tarantino, which is a kind of an action movie thriller, but then you also got a zombie movie that was just like gory and weird.
and crazy.
Yeah. So watch them both in the same sitting. I think they even had like intermission fake previews.
When did they stop doing intermissions in movies? Titanic had an intermission, right?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I did not see
seems right.
Titanic in the theater somehow, some lucky way.
But I just remember watching, like old movies on VHS at home, and I would have to fast forward 10 minutes through the intermission because
I went to see Hateful Eight at a theater in Evanston, and it was a film print, 70 millimeter. It was not digital. And they had an intermission, and they had a playbill that they handed out.
That's
And so
really
it was,
cool.
Yeah, it was like a whole experience. An intermission, you got to stand up and talk to your friends about what's happened so far. And the movie kind of needed it, too. It's a long movie, so
And it
thought it was
adds
a
like a
great experience.
formality to it of just kind of like a break and then going back into it, diving back in. And you mentioned before about not letting the real world creep in. But at this point, like you said, it's too long and you need to be able to just kind of like come back up for air and then dive down again.
Yeah, now that they're getting to be 3 hours, I think they need to bring it back. If it's like 2.5 or less or 2.5 or more, like somewhere in there should be an intermission, I feel.
Braveheart.
do you feel like movies are trending longer?
I do for a while. I think it's kind of coming back now, but for a while there, after Lord of the Rings, I think kind of opened the floodgates a little bit. Where it said, we can make a 3.5 hour movie. And people, Return of the King was 3 hours, 20 minutes in the theater, in the theater cut, 4 hours on the extended DVD.
Before you start watching all the bonus features.
Yeah. I was in a movie theater when Roger Ebert died. I
Oh, really?
was watching Oz the Great and Powerful, and we left, and I checked Twitter immediately, as I do when I leave a movie theater, and that's how I got the news that Roger Ebert had died, was on the walk back to the car from the movies.
That's one of the memories you were mentioning, Tony, about creating when you go somewhere and do stuff.
You remember the place
Place and time.
context, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like going to the movie theaters where you can order food and there's servers, hunched over, walking around? Or
I don't think so.
No.
I don't even get popcorn. I don't get anything at the theater. So a whole dinner meal is that much less appealing.
And it's so exorbitant. I went to, I think it was River East downtown or one of those big ones. And I was looking at the menu and it was like a sundae was $9.99. And I was like, wow. And then also there are people walking back and forth bringing the food and stuff. So, and they try to hunch over and things, but I do like the cushy seats that you can recline in.
Sure.
Some theaters have those circular lounge and table things where you can sit.
Yeah.
I think those are taking away from the one-on-one or the shared experience that you sit in theaters, but with the one-on-one experience with the movie. It detracts from the experience.
So apparently we love it. We're crazy about theaters and interested in MoviePass. And
So are either of you interested in procuring MoviePass?
Is there a friend invite kind of code?
No, there is not. I'm just interested in seeing.
I think I'm ready to jump on that deal just to see what it's like and how I use it, and then make a decision after maybe trying it. Maybe I'll try it on the app or something. Yeah.
I feel like I should just because of this podcast, just because I see a movie a month so I can podcast about it. If I have to go, I may as well make it MoviePass. And then there's 3 or 4 movies in May that I want to see, so I should have my card before May arrives, before Solo and Infinity War hit me from both sides.
And we have a coworker who works here at the library who sees around 20 movies a month. So you might become one of those heavy users.
Yeah, it's true. So that's a MoviePass themed podcast, but also just an outpouring of love for seeing movies in theaters. We hope you feel the same way.
And most of those would be available on DVD at our library.
Yeah,
the ones
that's
that
true.
we mentioned. Yeah.
Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace and The Natural and Temple of Doom and
all the
Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit are available.
Multiple
And you can
copies
get
of
the
those,
extended features here where you can't find them as easily on Netflix, for example.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
We have the extended edition.
All right. So that's going to do it for the Pint and Click podcast. We'll see you later.